Hey Sierra, it's Danielle Winger. I was just responding to your video about Dr. Forth's podcast about assessment and diagnosis in the mental health profession. I really enjoyed listening to the points that really stood out to you because some of the points that you made, I too also found intriguing. I also really enjoyed listening to your article that you found on our library database about the French psychologists and how appropriate or inappropriate diagnosing teenagers could be, and over diagnosing people, and how that can kind of negatively impact their view on themselves, as well as the fulfilling a prophecy. I feel like, as a regular education teacher, I do see an abundance of overdiagnosing, especially in the autism or ADHD realm. I see that there are lots of parents that, instead of wanting to um, per- be provided with therapy or occupational support or language therapy, that when their child does get diagnosed with ADHD, more times than not, parents are wanting medication or wanting to kind of research medication because they think that they need a quick fix, especially if the behavior is impeding their academic learning. As a foster mother, to my foster son. We are actually in the midst of going through an evaluation. We just filled out the DSM-5, as well as the short parent and teacher surveys. And reading about those different components too, and those different types of assessments and what they explain and what they are able to diagnose, I can tell you that I felt like the DSM 5 gave much more opportunities for the facilitators to see a whole picture of my son, whereas the parent teacher survey does not. His teacher and I even had a conversation after and prior to her filling out her school evaluation form and my parent form as to the things that she sees in class that we don't see, or the things that we see at home that she doesn't get to see. So I could see where not just utilizing the surveys and not really getting a true evaluation or spending time with the child and really delving deeper into their symptoms or their behaviors could really impact overdiagnosing or underdiagnosing. I really found it interesting. I also found it interesting when she said that the the assessments and the purpose behind giving someone a diagnosis is so that you could have common language, which I feel like, as a student working on my school counseling profession, that definitely helps in the collaboration and teamwork between a school counselor and teachers and parents. Because, like I said, with my son's kindergarten teacher, some of the behaviors she described, I would have described it differently. And so just having that common language, or even common questions with an assessment, helps when trying to create a plan behind behaviors, or even, how he may not have a diagnosis, but perhaps it's trauma. And so just getting assessments and a diagnosis, or just having those conversations and filling out assessments and trying to dive deeper into what his behavior is and what is our plan of action, I just find that all very interesting. And so I really enjoyed your video. I was curious when you were discussing the prophecy and the possible client that's been told that they have this diagnosis. What your thoughts were on that? Do you feel that clients or students would be pushed to prove that their diagnosis is not impacting their life? Kind of like, my mom says I have autism, but I can do hard things, or I can do this anyway. Or do you feel like clients or students would use it more as a crutch, as an excuse to have their behaviors or not do well academically? Well, I have ADHD, so I can't do this. I was just curious what your thoughts were, because I could see it kind of go either way. But yeah, so thanks again for sharing, Zira. Bye.